This week's Torah portion teaches us to view ourselves as holy and to own that, to be confident, and that's who we are. So we're going to look at two different aspects. One is that the Parsha is literally called Naso. So the command, Naso es harosh, is the idea to count every head. But it's also the idea to raise our heads, and to be a proud Jew, to be a proud Jewish woman, to be proud of what our role is as a Jewish woman. And the first beginning of Shulchan Aruch is this idea, is be bold as a leopard, to do the will of our Father in heaven, is to get up every morning with that confidence of I have a mission, I have a vision of who I am and what I'm here to do. And really to be able to do that with the confidence of a raised head. And we're going to look at another sikha also, which really brings out this point in a whole other way, is in this week's Parsha, we learn about the Nazir. So the Nazir is someone who took it upon themselves to be extra holy, to be sanctified to God. So practically this means there's a lot of things they don't do. They don't become defiled, like they wouldn't go to a cemetery because that would have some ritual impurity. They don't drink wine, even though we're allowed to, luckily. They sanctify themselves. Like, I don't want to have wine. They don't even have grapes. They completely take themselves out of certain things. They don't get haircuts, right? They're always seen like the Nazir is like this image of someone with the long hair. And so the question is this just a bunch of things they don't do? Is this maybe out of fear of, oh no, I can't have too much contact with the physical world because I'm going to get bogged down. I'm going to get lost in the sauce. And the Rebbe teaches us, no, this is a choice of being holy. This is not coming out of fear. This is coming out of desire to connect, of them saying, why not be as holy as I can be? And such an incredible quote, I want to bring this here, this is what the Rebbe says in the Sikha. The ideal and correct approach, however, is one of distinction and pride. Like the Nazir who is holy, therefore abstains. Right, so what is it? He sees himself as holy, and therefore he says, wait a second, I'm holy. I'm connected to Hashem. I'm in this exalted spiritual state. I'm in this relationship with God. So how could I engage in those things? A Jew must approach the Torah's high standards and expectations with an attitude that I've been set apart by God to be distinguished and sanctified. God chose me. Would it befit me to behave otherwise? Considering my illustrious lineage, I'm a descendant of Avram, Yitzhak, Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah. How can I compare myself to the rest of society? God selected me to receive the Torah. It is therefore incumbent upon me to be different, take the high road in all areas of sanctity and morality. So this is from Torah's Menachem. And this is so powerful. It almost feels like this holy pride of being able to say, wait a second, I'm a daughter of Sarah. Like, what am I doing about to do this thing? I'm too holy for this. Not, oh, I don't want to be low. It's, no, I'm too holy. And really being able to have this identity shift of viewing ourselves as holy. Let's take this into the realm of marriage, right? So this idea of marriage being nisuin, right? The act of marriage actually means like to be in many ways raised up, right? This marriage is designed to be this act of elevation and holiness, right? We know that marriage is a mitzvah. It has kedusha. When we go under a chuppah, we are now sanctified to each other, just like we're sanctified to God. It's literally is being in a holy relationship. And yet, all of marriage happens, behind closed doors, happens in the privacy of our homes, the place where we're most relaxed, where we get the most comfortable with each other, where the worst habits, can brew, and where suddenly it might become, okay, not a big deal to yell at my husband, or maybe not a big deal to swear, or not a big deal to, to make fun or be cynical, or, the worst part of ourselves can so naturally come out. It's like a breeding ground for that, because it's like not in the public arena. It's at the dinner table. It's in the kitchen. It's in the Erev Shabbos stress. It's in the grind of making money. It's in all of it. And so it's, wait a second, but marriage is holy. This is supposed to be an arena for holiness, and being able to say, wait a second, when I view myself as this identity of I'm a daughter of Sarah, of Rivka, of Rachel, and Leah. I'm a daughter of Abraham and Yitzhak and Yaakov Avinu. Of course I'm holy. Of course it's deeply natural to my neshama to talk in an elevated way. Of course I don't need to respond, by yelling. Of course Hashem will give me everything I need, like a queen, like a princess. I can receive it. Of course, I can say what my truth in a way that's gentle and humble and kind, and I will be listened to. It's viewing ourselves really in this queen-like state. And I think all of what Torah and mitzvahs is inviting us into is a panim lepanim relationship with God, is a face-to-face relationship with God, where we're really just receiving in the most inner way. We're receiving as queens. We're not taking, we're receiving. And the more I identify as being in this holy, right? Because klipa is all about just taking from wherever I can get. Kedusha is about receiving in an inner and deep way. And so the more I'm really up for the relationship with Hashem, of being in this holy relationship, the more natural that becomes to make my relationship with my husband holy. Because my relationship with God is its private inner thing. And so is my relationship with my husband. And so I'm able to really view myself the way Hashem views me, which is holy, which is sacred, which is chosen, which is special. Then I can take this holy identity and bring this to my marriage. And I'll share with you an example of where this really plays out. So one of the skills we practice at Google Wives is called shtika. Now, when a lot of people first learn about the skill of shtika, they kind of freak out. If you've been married for a long time, they freak out less because they're like, oh yeah, that's actually just great. But what is the idea of shtika? It's silence. It's when I am being insulted, when I, that immediately feeling of, I'm being wrongly accused or something's being said that's like lowbrow, just not responding, like staying in that place of silence. Hold your queenhood, like hold the inner dignity and not responding in a way that doesn't feel dignified, right? Like defending myself or blaming back or criticizing. And, the Torah teaches us how to live in this exalted state. Like, for example, let's say someone is accused of something, and the only way to get the burden off of themselves is to rightfully blame the person whose fault it was, right? What are you talking about? You left the milk out. Actually, within the laws of Lashon Hara, it's not so simple to out another person. The Torah is always teaching us how to really hold our dignity, to really hold an exalted queen-like state. And so shtika is not about bottling down all of our emotions. If something hurts, say ow. It's, or just maybe waiting for the anger to pass, or waiting till I'm ready to handle what's going on in my emotions in a way of holiness, in a way of sanctity, versus just reacting. And when we're really able to see ourselves above society standards are, if my husband says something rude, yell, put him in his place, get mean. That's basically the basis of sitcoms, is how big of a zinger can you say back right away. And the Torah is saying, no, we are oil on top of water. We are above the whole world. Our way of reacting is one of absolute dignity and royalty. Why? Because we're Hashem's. And one of my favorite parts of this concept of this skill is just the idea that when something is all being offered and it's a lower vibration, I don't need to respond to that. I can hold in my shtika. I can hold in silence, because silence is connected to Keter. We learn this in the Mimer of Ayin based on the Rebbe shop and many other places in the Chassidus. But really, really, where do we get our wisdom? It's in that silence. And so instead of just responding the way the world tells us to, being able to say, wait a second, well, how can I respond in a way of holiness? How can I really identify with the fact that my marriage is holy? And how can I bring that out today in my thoughts, in my speech, and in my action? Wishing you an exalted week of feeling like a queen in your home, feeling like a queen in the world, feeling like a queen in your marriage, and really feeling the exaltedness of being a Jewish woman, because it is such a blessing. Thank you.